people who didn't come. So we are very honored to have Pravrajika Krishnaprana ji from the Santa Barbara convent in California, which is a part of the Vedanta Society of Southern California, the Hollywood Center. So this is a short introduction of hers. Mataji met Swami Prabhavananda in Santa Barbara in 1968, where she was vacationing. She had just finished a teaching job in Hawaii and was looking for a sunnier climate than Seattle, where she was raised. She then returned to the Northwest and met Swami Vividishananda and Swami Ranganathananda. She moved to Santa Barbara in 1969. She lived there and volunteered at the center, learning the philosophy from Swami Prabhavananda and the nuns in residence. She moved into the convent in 1972 and was privileged to be able to serve Swami Prabhavananda until his passing. She had brahmacharya and sannyasa from Swami Asheshananda, and like I mentioned before, if you all don't know, he was a direct disciple of Holy Mother Sharada Devi, and has lived in the Santa Barbara convent for her entire monastic life. So, Pravrajika Krishnaprana ji.
Start with chant. Filled with see, filled with Brahma, we see not. Out of Brahma, it's the same. Om, peace be unto us all. Today's topic is attitudes of strength. Strength is life, and weakness is death. I believe it was Holy Mother who said, faith is life and doubt is death. So in changing our attitudes, because it is our attitude towards life that closer? Hearing to myself too much. To develop an attitude of strength, because strength, living life without fear and without weakness, makes for a much more productive and happy life, much more content life. But in all life, we run into obstacles. And obstacles can either defeat us or strengthen us. Any obstacle that we run into. Because obstacles are just I need my glasses. Getting old is not fun, okay? You need glasses, you need hearing aids, you need all kinds of stuff. Obstacles are just the stop signs and caution signs of life. They don't make you quit. They say, stop and take a minute, think this thing out. Decide what you really want to do. Decide what attitude you're going to have. Don't react with your emotions. And if you do react with your emotions, okay, but don't make a decision in the throes of them. Stop, think, use discrimination, use your power of common sense. And as my guru said, that's the most uncommon thing in the world. But we all try to develop it. So how do we do this? I mean, what do we do? How do we make these decisions? Once again, it's the same object. We define a goal. What do we want this life to be? And that's the first step to any life. What do we want? Do we want success in business? Do we want a successful family? Do we want to find God? Most people who come to religious services of any kind, gather around religion, are looking for God. They're looking for peace of mind. They're looking for contentment. They're looking for joy. And also for uncompromising, unending, eternal love, which we can only get from God. Because all people, including us, will not be here 100 years from now. So we define our goal. And then when things come up, we use our discrimination and decide, is this the direction I want to go, or is it not? And if we can think about it unemotionally, then we can make a wise decision. Someone once said, know yourself and choose wisely. Choose what you want. Make your decision going towards the goal you want, not leading yourself astray. We have different ways of looking at things. We can put limits on ourselves, which also create weakness and doubt. We limit ourselves. According to Swamiji, we can do anything. We are the Atman. We are capable of everything. And he of course, personified it, because when he was visiting the U.S., I think it was U.S., might have been Scotland, someone challenged him to a game of, I think he was saying, why do you play golf? Just chase a ball around the grass. And they said, no, it takes great skill and many years of practice. And they challenged him to make a hole-in-one. And he got up to the tee, and he pulled his mind together, concentrated, supreme powers of concentration, and made the hole-in-one. He was also challenged many times once in Texas, when he was telling people that he was, we're not the body, we're not the mind, he was telling them, giving them basic Advaita Vedanta, and some cowboy said, you're not the body, well, I'm going to shoot at you. So they shot at him, not shot him, shot near him, and he didn't flinch, didn't move, didn't run. And the cowboy was quite impressed, and he said, well, you must have something there. When I say, every time we use the phrase, I can't do that, oh, I can't do that, we're setting our own limit. You can always say, well, I don't know how to do it, but I can sure try. And we may not do it well the first time, but setting limits on ourselves it compresses our whole being. It makes us pull in. Saying, I won't do that is a choice we have made. I can't or I won't. I won't says, I've thought about this and I choose not to do it. And that's not too subtle a difference, but it is a difference in attitude. Making choices in our life pushes us forward. Making thoughtful, considered choices, not knee-jerk reactions. We also, I don't know, have many of you read Viktor Frankl? Viktor Frankl, his book was extremely popular when I was in college, which was years ago. But he says, our perspective toward life is our final freedom. Because the way we view life is what frees us. If we view life as an opportunity for growth, an opportunity to manifest our own divine nature, then an opportunity to manifest our joy, an opportunity to find God, then we have freed ourselves from other people's things, that other people's rules that they're putting on us. I choose to do these things. My attitude is, this is God's will. I'm not going to fight it. This gives us complete and absolute freedom. Now, what do we have to overcome in order to get that strength? We have to overcome our doubt and our weaknesses. And what makes our weaknesses and our doubt? Living in the past. And wallowing in negative emotions. Now, sometimes we all take a dive for the what I call the dark side and go, okay, I'm going to be depressed for a while. This is a really depressing situation, so I choose to be depressed for a while. Normally what happens is I get a little bored with it because I much prefer having other people around and seeing what they're, seeing what they need and seeing how we can work together. And living in our own minds completely is a little limited. We have to expand our minds to include everyone. Expansion is strength. Contraction is weakness. So I know they have this organization called Wounded Warriors. And these are men who are so maimed from war that you wonder how they even survived. But they all try and go forward. They don't sit there and go, oh, poor me, poor me, poor me. They're out working, helping other people. That's an extreme example. But we can all help our friends, help our family, help our neighbors, instead of closing ourselves in and wondering what's going to happen. Excuse me. Why don't people do that? Well, often, I think COVID pointed it out very clearly why we don't do it. Excuse me. When we're, I don't need water, it's just, no, it's, thank you. It's just, I get a frog in my throat and he won't leave. When we were trapped inside with COVID, many of us took the opportunity to increase our spiritual practice. Many of us took the opportunity to wonder how bad the situation was going to be. And if we watched the news, we knew it was going to be desperate. I mean, everyone was going to die, quite frankly, according to the news. Now, in our situation in California, I don't know how, Texas was bad, it was hit hard. Our situation, we have an extremely temperate climate, so we were outside all the time. And everyone very quickly said, if you can be outdoors and not confined, you won't have too big a problem. So we never stopped seeing our devotees. We never stopped. The temple closed off and on, off and on. When the county said we had to close it, then we closed it. But I don't think we took it as, I won't say as seriously. We got vaccinated, we did all the stuff that you had to do because we had some nuns in care facilities and you were not allowed in without getting all of the protocols done. So, but we didn't stop our activities. And a lot of our devotees were very happy about that because they could come up and visit. They could still come to the convent. We'd sit outside with, good spaces between us, but we could talk and we could interact. So that kind of thing, we had people who isolated, and in some cases, they still are isolating themselves. They have not come out of that. And that's when I say they're creating their own limitations, creating their own fear. Even when they have gotten, a couple of them stayed inside, barely went out and got COVID anyway. And it was like a bad cold now. But the fear that we generate in our own heads is what we can control by listening to the input that we get from the news, listening to what's happening, but putting it in perspective. Is this the first time this has ever happened? I mean, we have wars all the time. We have people fighting each other. I doubt if anyone can name one period of history that there has not been a war going on. I would be happy if you could tell me one time. But I think throughout time immemorial, people have been fighting over property. They have been fighting over religious differences once they got a religion. They have been fighting over, I don't even know. I know in Ireland, they're fighting over an incident that happened in 1400. Now, this is not letting go of the past. These things are over, but they can work themselves up into an emotional fervor and feel injustice. This is what we say when I say weakness is living in the past, and I say wallowing in the negativities. I said it last night because I only heard it in Austin yesterday, but the past is history. The future is a mystery. The present is a gift. That's why we call it the present. So it's our gift to take the direction we want to take. We think it out, we think what we're doing. We look try to find the positive in what is happening. The good things that came out of COVID, I think, were Zoom meetings for Vedantists. I mean, I think Vedantists have become more acquainted with the centers and the swamis around the world, and particularly in the United States, because we all had to do Zoom. And it has expanded our horizons greatly. I think people have spent more time listening to religious talks, religious, studies of books. I know many people, since we know Swami Atmajnanananda from living in Trabuco when he was a young monk, many people have decided they attend his gospel classes on Zoom. He's in Washington, D.C., but it keeps everyone connected. And that is a part of broadening our work, broadening our expansions. I would imagine that some of you would come to talks or an event a couple of times, maybe once a week. And now with the opportunity of Zoom, you may be listening to 4 or 5 classes a week. We have that opportunity. We're able to do it. We're able to get, well, now with YouTube too, even if we can't do Zoom, we can listen to Sri Dharananda in Australia, his Gita classes and things, and they're gorgeous. And it gives us an opportunity to hear these things from these great swamis and scholars, and we can pick and choose. Swami Harinamananda started Vedanta Life Academy, which many people have gotten into. And that's gathering swamis and having the discussions and from different perspectives. And these people are in different parts of the world, and they're still all working together. This is the good thing that's come out of COVID. As far as I'm concerned, it has expanded us immensely. But how do we get, my emphasis is usually on how do we get to the joy part of religion. I mean, religion is Satchidananda, right? That's our goal. Knowledge, truth, bliss. How do we get to the bliss part? Because having joy is having an expansive heart. It includes everyone. I was quite taken with the Dalai Lama and Bishop Tutu, who did this book together called The Book of Joy. And they there's 8 pillars of joy. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Some of you are, but the 4 pillars of joy of the mind, which forms your character or perspective on things: humility, humor, and acceptance. And when we stop and think at it, perspective is what we've been talking about in mental expansion, not making irrational choices out of emotional reactions. Humility, that's so often we think humility is, oh no, that's okay, taking the back seat. But, I can't do, it's not me. But that's timidity. That is not true humility. True humility knows what you are good at, knows what you're bad at, and doesn't want to be lauded for what you're good at. They just want to do what they can do, and you can do it well, so you do it. But you don't expect praise. You don't expect everyone to go, oh. But you don't want to be timid about what you can do. Hold back. Humor is one of the best things in life. But the one thing, not to make fun of other people, but to be able to laugh at yourself, to recognize your own foibles and say, that's really, just not make fun of yourself, but be able to see your little, not character flaws even, but be able to see the humor in what you do. Acceptance, we all have to learn that. Holy Mother said that. We have to be patient. The Chaitanya prayer, we have to be patient and forbearing like the tree, because there is good and bad in the world. There's no getting around it. As long as we define something as good, we are comparing it to something that we define as bad. And that's our definitions. In reality, in Brahman, there is no good or bad. It just is. But we define these things. So we have to learn to accept. And if we can alleviate or change the bad situation, do it. If we can't, we just have to live with it. And that's hard. Because our nature is just want to improve things. Our nature is to improve everything. Okay, so then the Dalai Lama and Bishop Tutu defined the 4 the other 4 pillars of joy, and these are of the heart, which is the summation of your practice. Forgiveness, the ability to really forgive. Not just to say, I forgive you, but to really feel it. And I think Bishop Tutu was the one who, well, they both had terrible, terrible situations. Bishop Tutu was in South Africa during all of the apartheid. Dalai Lama was chased out of his own country and has never been back. So they have gone through extreme things and still find the joy in life. But forgiveness, when they started I can't remember the name of it, when they started bringing the South African whites and the South African blacks together who had been lost people and been tortured, and they brought the torturer and the victim together, and they saw each other as human beings. That did a great deal at that time for alleviating the animosities. So forgiveness was one of the big ones. Gratitude was the second pillar. And what do we mean by gratitude? Being honestly grateful for everything that happens. Honestly grateful. Seeing the bad things in your life as an opportunity for growth. Seeing the good things in your life, being grateful that you had the wherewithal to recognize them. Because so often we don't recognize the good things that are happening to us. We keep expecting more. And that's it, we do. We have expectations, and when they're not met exactly the way we feel they should be, then we're not grateful. But I mean, Swami Swahananda used to tell us, many of you have been to Santa Barbara, and he would laugh and he'd say, well, we'd say, isn't it gorgeous today, Swami? And he'd say, beauty is only 10 minutes. And then you forget all about it. And we'd look at him and we say, no, we don't. Honestly, every single day we get up and look outside and we're really grateful for where we live. Really grateful. We can't understand how we're able to be here. And he'd look at us like, but he was too. I don't know. I'm sure all of you encountered his poke to see how you thought and what you really felt. Yeah. So gratitude to people that are there in your life, gratitude to the weather when it's nice, when you don't have terrible windstorm or floods or anything, just being grateful. Compassion was the third pillar of joy in the heart. And compassion is not just empathy. It's not just feeling what another person is feeling. It's an ability to identify with them and try to lift their hearts. Compassion would be, when I think we have, when someone loses a parent. And I'll give another. When Ramakrishna, when someone came and said they'd lost their son, or Holy Mother, and she cried with the person, but then eventually lifted the person's heart because of her knowledge and her identification. Yes, it's the most terrible thing that can happen to someone to lose a child. And then pointing out the eternity of life, that it's not just this body. It is just a body. The child is still eternally alive. But that compassion is praying for people that are experiencing difficulties, helping them if you can, in any way that's possible, and being there for them. Just listening is a very compassionate thing to do. It also goes into the fourth pillar, which is generosity. You have to be generous with yourself and give of yourself to other people. Take time for them. So often we get wrapped up in our everyday work. And in a convent or a monastery, it's really easy to get wrapped up, and you've got so many things you say you have to do. And someone says, well, can I come by? And you go, well, I don't know. Maybe if you came by at 2, but not now. That's not being generous. I mean, sure, come. You've seen Swami Swahananda, come. Swami Sarvadevana, come. By the way, you're getting 5 people for lunch today. Okay. Like I said, one time, very early in this history of the Vedanta Society of Southern California, Yoga Prana was cooking in the kitchen in Hollywood, and they had a speaker that came in from the temple, so she could listen to the lecture that Swami P was giving, Swami Prabhavananda. I'm sorry, we called him Swami P all my life, so it's hard. And suddenly, at the end of the lecture, she was doing the cooking, and he said, and you're all invited to lunch. The entire temple. And she went, and she said, turned to the person who was helping her, she says, put more water in the dal. But they, and of course, the Swamis seldom think that there's going to be a problem because they don't cook. But the generosity of heart, the generosity of time, helping someone helping your neighbor, seeing someone who's struggling to pick up something off the ground and helping them do it. That's generosity, a generosity of heart, character. So these 2 men who have gone through these terrible situations, external situations, have managed to keep their internal balance and their internal sense of joy in life. And I find it helpful to hear what to have them try and define how they've done it. I don't believe this is completely how they do it, but this is what they have given as the things that they feel are important steps that we can relate to and say, well, I could do that. They're not impossible. They're not impossible methods. We can all get perspective. We can choose to have perspective on events. We can look at, once we calm our emotions down, because that's a big reaction. Emotions get in the way. And we all know that they're just the gunas. They're walking through our lives and our minds. They're not forever. They are totally transitory and unreal. And we all experience them all the time. We go calm one period. Oh, I've got to get all that done, and you're just running through life. And then other times, do anything, I'm just going to sit here. They're just the gunas, they're not us. So we can all practice perspective. We can know that. We can practice humility, not timidity, but humility. We can practice seeing silly things that we do or the irrational things that we do and laugh at them. We're not above we're not perfect. We're not going to be perfect. We're living in a human body. We're experiencing human emotions. We're not going to be perfect all the time. No one is. And we can all practice acceptance. We can. It's difficult, but we can do it. So these pillars that they have put up are what make us strong people. They're what they give us inner strength because we are identifying, we're getting closer to our divine nature. We can all practice forgiveness. Hard sometimes, but we can do it. We can practice gratitude. You can start with thanking the person that holds the door open for you out loud. Turning around and saying thank you. That's gratitude, and it doesn't take anything. We can try to be more compassionate in what I call cutting people's slack. That was our phrase. When they do things and you think, and just say, maybe they're having a really bad day. Maybe they're mad at someone at home, and that's why they barked at me. Give them a little space. If it continues, then no. But if it's one time, no. We can all practice that. We can make time for our neighbors, make time for our kids, make time for I think that's another thing, good thing that came out of COVID. It did in Santa Barbara. We have a lot of parents that were highly concerned with, in our area, it's not necessarily work, it's doing good, charity work, because a lot of them have too much money. But they don't have too much time for their kids. They're always taking their kids to this activity or that activity and dropping them off. And in COVID, they couldn't do that. And they had to have them all day long and help them get through school. And they found that they really enjoyed it. And so they didn't go back into the old habits of keeping them busy all the time. And that's another wonderful thing. They started having dinner together. Shock. They all sat down at the table together and talked to each other. But so that's also keeping perspective. What are the good things that happen? What are the bad things that happen? And finding a perspective to the entire situation. So I think we can all agree with what Swamiji says. Strength is life and weakness is death. Or weakness and doubt are the same thing. Doubt makes you weak. So, where we are. As they say, another saying, and I don't know who this, I think it might have been Swamiji too. A hero dies but once. A coward dies 1,000 deaths. They die every time there are. And a hero is willing to give their all and only die once. And I think Swamiji's life proved that. He gave everything he had and left at 32. Yeah. 39? Okay. I know it was the 4th of July. I am so bad on dates, you don't. Should I say one thing really bad? I'm not even sure when I got sannyas. I think it was 1984, but I'd have to look through the diary and find out. I'm really bad on dates. It kind of all just, it's back there. So, yeah, but he gave everything he had. He expended his entire life explaining and interpreting Ramakrishna for the world. Not just for India. He did a separate message for, kind of a separate message for India. Because you can all read Bengali and Hindi. You can get it direct. But I mean, from what I understand, from what I've read and what he'd said in English, was that he was promoting strength and education for India. Stand up, be strong, be warriors, get educated, get some rajas going. Do it. And for the United States and Western Europe, he said, okay, you've done that. Now take care of your minds. Take care of your minds and get your attitudes and your mental strength, your emotional strength, because you have conquered, done stuff in the external world, and you're okay. But now you need to work on the internal. So we have both messages for today, because the society has changed in both places. And I really and truly do believe that he said the ideal Vedantist, the ideal man will have the spirituality of India and the technological and education of the West. And when they merge that, this will be the ideal person. And I think most everyone here is already there. Because we have managed to merge these two very diverse, at that time, societies. So what we have to do is be strong and get to notice when we're being doubtful or weak and change that. That's the mental strength that we all have that Swamiji was preaching. Once you become successful in your businesses and successful in the rajasic nature of the world, then you have to get into the internal world and make sure you take care of that. And I think that's it for me. I will stop now. Swami Prabhavananda never spoke for more than 45 minutes, and we were not speaking then, but he said, don't ever speak for longer than that, because people's attention span goes, or they fall asleep. And it's true. So now what we do is we're going to have another song. I'm sorry. Oh, sure. Questions and answers are fine. If you have any questions. Yes. Yeah. My hearing aids died. So. As I say, getting older, the body getting older is really a pain in the neck. You can't hear, you can't see right. You have to adapt. At least I still have my teeth. Okay. One time, Swami Swahananda came, and all of a sudden he was going, Nachiketa, Nachiketa, come. I forgot my teeth. Yes.
Okay, thank you for your good presentation, identifying all the positive values, direction we should take to focus on increasing the inner strength. Questions. One is you mentioned about merging spirituality of India, science, progress of West.
Sorry, I didn't.
Combining spirituality from the East, India, spirituality aspect, and the science progress West be an ideal case.
Yeah, it's not me, it's Swamiji.
Swamiji.
I can't, it's Swamiji who said that.
Okay. When we hear from you, naturally we refer that. No.
Yeah, that's Swamiji, that's not me. He said that somewhere in the complete works. And I think it's, I have no idea what volume it is, because,
Accepted.
yeah.
That's not the really question. The question is, isn't it contradiction there? In other words, spirituality is beyond science, materialism.
Absolutely.
And the combination of that itself is like it's like mixing water and oil. Natural.
Well, you see, I think what Swamiji was saying, and it's only what I think, he was saying that the spiritual ideals of India and the spiritual philosophy that India had, at the time he was there under the British rule, had become a very weak and tamasic culture. The Indians had no faith in themselves. I think that's why Ramakrishna came, to reignite the Indian pride and philosophy that they had believed in and had formed the society. But they had, for the greater majority, with the women uneducated, with the English saying that you're idol worshippers, you are not worshiping God, you're just primitive. Too many people had accepted that definition, and Swamiji wanted that to stop. He wanted everyone educated to know that you're not worshiping that clay image, you're not worshiping that picture, you're not worshiping any of those things. You're worshiping the principle behind them. Those are simply visual representations. And so that's what I feel he meant when he said the combination of the two would be the ideal person. The West at that time was worshiping money. And that was it. And that, and when you stop and look at it, who was he hosted by? Who took care of him when he came to the West? The wealthiest and the highest echelon of society. So he had a firsthand view of it. And he could then say with full knowledge, stop worshiping money, start thinking about your internal life. And he could say in India, basically get off your butt and get to work. And believe in know that you're worshiping God. Know that your philosophy is the highest in the world. That's to me is why he said that the ideal Vedantist, the ideal person would be a combo of.
Another question is,
Hello.
Be a part of this amazing talk today. We really enjoyed your message. My question to you is kind of similar to what you just said, which was what Swamiji mentioned to the West as he was here about stop focusing on the money, come back to your truth, your internal truth. I find we're still in that predicament today, and I especially see that with young people and the host of mental health challenges that young people have today, especially faced with social media and all kinds of pressure.
Yeah.
And I often go back to the parents because they themselves are so focused on the money and the achievements and the drop-offs and the pickups from all the activities. It is challenging to give that message to the parents. So I
Very
wanted to
much
get
so. Yeah, extremely challenging. I don't know exactly what to do about that. I have heard different parents in different schools attempts at trying to deal with that. I've heard I've heard of different schools who are now making everyone put their devices away, their phones away. They have to drop them in a basket before as they enter the school, and they can take them when they leave. I've heard of parents who are limiting time and blocking things because so many children and young people these days take I don't know whether I'm really not that. I have a Facebook account and I don't know how to get into it. So, but I've heard that the kids today are there's so much bullying going on. There's so much, they're forming their self-image on how many friends they have online instead of making face-to-face friends, and too much negativity is being put online. I don't know how it is here. We have one of our devotees who's now been working actively in suicide prevention for preteens. And it's almost always related to online evaluations of them or online criticisms of them, where people, you're no good, you're negativity, which I don't know how we're going to do. I mean, I really don't, because I was never going to get a smartphone. I used my computer as a typewriter. And we were forced to get smartphones because Swami Sarvadevananda said, I can't get a hold of you when you're out of country. And we went, yeah, you can't. And I was never going to text. And I wasn't going to do any kind of activities on my phone. Yeah. I text a lot. I look at Instagram. I have a couple crossword puzzles that I do because they're good for my brain, right? At least that's what they tell me. They're actually a waste of time, but so I mean, if it can be that seductive for someone of my age, then I don't know what chance we have with kids who are growing up with it. I mean, in one way, I think they might have an advantage because they will have more knowledge of it than someone like I would have. And they'll be more discriminating or have the possibility of being more discriminating with instruction from help from their parents and help from school. That's what I hope will happen, and that's what feel will happen, because it took a while, but I think everyone can almost say they don't believe everything that comes on the news every day. We all feel there's some kind of bias or some kind of interpretation that may not be ours. But it's taken a long time for us to do that. We used to take the news programs as truthful. Now, I know when I found out it was really off kilter was when the Iraq War started, and someone gave me a television. Okay, so now I have a TV too. And I would listen to the news, and it was just like, oh my God, how can that be going on? Then I found out that the generals who were in Iraq gave a news briefing each morning at 4 o'clock to the reporters, and that's what they were reporting. But so I got up early and I started listening to what the generals were saying, and by 6 o'clock it was an entirely different thing. It was entirely different. Each news reporter had added their speculations and their opinions and were reporting it as fact. Yep. And I went, okay. Yeah, you can. Well, yeah, you can't do it, but I think my hope is, and I've seen it in some of the kids, quite a few, they have become more savvy about that. And they actually have a lot more discrimination with the things that are on the devices than I probably do, that's growth. And it's growth in the right direction. But it's going to take a while longer. Yeah. Yep. That's okay, I can hear you.
There the guys telling make it to fake it for the positivity.
You know what? Fuzzy.
My voice.
No. I can hear myself better without the mic, too. Mm-hmm. Yes. That's true. I don't know. Everyone will die. Because being a negative person is a habit. It's a habit. And that's all it is. And it's one that you've cultivated if you are a negative person from the time you were small. And if you cultivate that habit, it's like getting up and the first thing you have to do is brush your teeth. A habit. Habits can be changed. If you make a conscious effort to change that habit, then you don't dig that samsara deeper and deeper and deeper. You ignore it. And out of being ignored and lack of feeding, it gets tired. And you start digging upon samsara. And yes, you can change. I mean, that whole statement of you can't teach an old dog new tricks, yes, you can. If that dog change, you have to have the desire to work on yourself and to change yourself in order to change a habit. But I mean, setting a habit of meditation every day, it doesn't come naturally. And especially if you have a job, I'm speaking as a Westerner. Meditate? I never heard about it until I met the Swamis, okay? We didn't have yoga in those days. We had, anti-war demonstrations. But setting a new habit is one of the most difficult things in the world. That's why they say, get a routine. Make it the same time every day. At anything you're trying to change, you have to make it regular. And this book that have I brought it up here? Being spiritual, being spiritual, staying practical. It's snippets from Swami Sarvagatananda, and he talks about this changing your way of thinking. Every time a negative thought comes into your mind, he says it over and over again, look at that thought and say, I don't have time for you right now. Or say, not today. Or say, no, I don't want to entertain you. This is how he does it. It's like almost 7 years of someone writing down things that he said in classes and things that he said during the day. It's a very, very good book on how to spiritualize your entire life without going around with a big sign on yourself, I'm spiritual. Just to change your own mind. And that's the hardest thing in the world, to set those new habits in your mind as well as in your day. Because I know the early Swami said, well, just make a habit of going in and sitting in your shrine for 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the evening if you have a heavy job. That will be enough to set the habit of meditation. Now, I know someone who said I couldn't even promise to do 10 minutes. I could promise that I might do 1 minute. But honestly evaluate yourself and see, what can I really do each day? And make time for mind training, God training, every day. And now we're going to have a song. Hope. We have questions and answers tomorrow too, don't we? Yeah. Sorry? Yeah, we'll have more questions and answers tomorrow. Okay? টাকা মাটি মাটি টাকা আজকে মন্ত্র নিলাম চাওয়া পাওয়া যা ছিল মোর সবই মাতোর পায়ে দিলাম টাকা মাটি মাটি টাকা আজকে মন্ত্র নিলাম চাওয়া পাওয়া যা ছিল মোর সবই মাতোর পায়ে দিলাম টাকা মাটি মাটি টাকা সারাটা দিন ঘুরে ফিরে দাঁড়িয়ে জীবন নদী তীরে হিসেব নিকেশ মিলিয়ে শেষে তোর চরণে ঠাই জানিলাম চাওয়া পাওয়া যা ছিল মোর সবই মাতোর পায়ে দিলাম টাকা মাটি মাটি টাকা ভেবে দেখি যা করেছি কোনো কাজে লাগবে না সে মরণকালে ধুলি ছাড়া রবে না তো কিছুই পাশে তাই তো বলি ও মা শ্যামা মা তাই তো বলি ও মা শ্যামা আমায় চরণ ছাড়া ওরে সিনেমায় অনেক দেখে অনেক জেনে তোর চরণে সার জানিলাম চাওয়া পাওয়া যা ছিল মোর সবই মাতোর পায়ে দিলাম টাকা মাটি মাটি টাকা আজকে মন্ত্র নিলাম চাওয়া পাওয়া যা ছিল মোর সবই মাতোর পায়ে দিলাম টাকা মাটি মাটি টাকা
Okay, so this is a song based on one of Thakur's famous saying, "Taka mati mati taka." That means the money is clay or soil, and soil is clay. That's what song is based on. And then he says that I have taken the mantra of that today, and everything else I have, surrendered at your feet. Then, after going around the whole day, and I'm standing now at the shores of the river. And after, doing all the, hisab nikas, that is all the negotiations of the day and of our life,
Come to Ash.
Ga আশার ভাব সাগর চিরোন্মাদ প্রেম পাথা জান গাল চারণ ভক্তার জান যুগল চারণ তারণ ভব জিম্ভিত যুগ ঈশ্বর জগদীশ্বর যোগ সহায় নিরোধান সমাহিত মন নিরোধান সমাহিত মন রক্ষিতব কৃপা ভঞ্জন দুঃখ গঞ্জন করুণা ঘন কর্ম কঠোর প্রাণার্পণ জগত তারণ প্রাণার্পণ জগত তারণ কৃন্তন কলিড বঞ্চন কাম কাঞ্চন অতি নিন্দিত ইন্দ্রিয় ত্যাগীশ্বর হে নারবার ত্যাগীশ্বর নারবার দেহ পাদে অনুরাগ নির্ভয় গত সংশয় দৃঢ় নিশ্চয় মানসবান নিষ্কারণ ভক নিষ্কারণ ভকত শরণ ত্যাজি জাতি কুলমান সম্পদ তব শ্রীপাদ ভব গোষ্পদ বারি যথা প্রেমার্পণ সমদার শান প্রেমার্পণ সমদর্শন জগ জান দুঃখ সম্পদ তব শ্রীপদ ভাব গোষ্পদ বারি যথা প্রেমার্পণ সমদর্শন প্রেমার্পণ সমদর্শন জগ জন দুঃখ যা নমো নমো প্রভু বাকমানাতীত নমো নমো প্রভু বাকমানাতীত মন বচনৈকাধার মন বচনৈকাধার জ্যোতির জলরিদি কান্দার জ্যোতির জ্যোতি জলরিদি কান্দার তুমি তম ভঞ্জন হার প্রভু তুমি তম ভঞ্জন হার নমো নমো প্রভু বাকমানাতীত নমো নমো প্রভু বাকমানাতীত মন বচনৈকাধার মন বচনৈকাধার জ্যোতির জ্যোতি জলরিদি কান্দার জ্যোতির জ্যোতি জলরিদি কান্দার তুমি তম ভঞ্জন হার প্রভু তুমি তম ভঞ্জন হার ধে 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 লঙ্গ রঙ্গ ভঙ্গ বাজে অঙ্গ সঙ্গ মৃদঙ্গ ধে 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 লঙ্গ রঙ্গ ভঙ্গ বাজে অঙ্গ সঙ্গ মৃদঙ্গ গাইছে ছন্দ ভক্ত বৃন্দ আরতি তোমার গাইছে ছন্দ ভক্ত বৃন্দ আরতি তোমার জয় জয় আরতি তোমার হর হর আরতি তোমার শিব শিব আরতি তোমার খণ্ডন ভববন্ধন জগবন্ধন বন্দে তোমার জয় শ্রী গুরু মহারাজ কি জয়। মঙ্গল মঙ্গলে শিবে সর্বার্থ সাধিকে শরণ্যে ত্রম্বকে গৌরী নারায়ণী নমোস্তু সৃষ্টি স্থিতি বিনাশ Jaya Narayani Namostute Jaya Narayani Namostute Amai ki Jai Jai Bhagwan Shri Rama Krishna Dev ki Jai Jai Swami Ji Maharaj ki Jai.
So we will continue with Mataji's talk tomorrow. I mean, it's really a question answer after Aarti tomorrow. Aarti will be at 7, and Mataji will answer questions from 7:30 onwards. That is one. And the second thing is that next month, the month of May, we have 3 Swamis coming. We have Swami Mahayogananda coming second week of May. Before that, we have Swami Atmagyananandaji, who's Stuart Maharaj from the Washington, D.C. Center. He's coming on Thursday, I think it's the 2nd. He'll be here 2nd in the evening, Friday in the evening, and then Saturday in the morning. And then Saturday in the evening, he has a talk at the Unitarian Universalist Church from 6 to 8. So those of you who can come, please do join us over there. I'll put out the address. And then he's leaving early Sunday morning for Austin. And then we'll have Swami Mahayogananda coming, and we'll also have Swami Sarvadevanandaji coming from the 13th of May to the 16th of May. And we will have Diksha, supposed to say that. He will give private, personal instructions. So those of you who are interested in getting that, please contact me, and I will put you down in the list. And we will also be having a general body meeting on the 15th evening after Aarati for members only. So if you would like to attend the general body meeting and also be a part of our the center, please, there are 2 types of membership, the annual membership and the lifetime membership. It'll be out on the membership form will be out very soon, within a day or 2. Those of you who are already on the VSGH, WhatsApp VSGH, it'll come out there, it will also go out on the mass email. What you have to do is download it, fill it up, sign it, and come and hand over the dues and the form either to Simanti, who's the treasurer, or to me. We will, put you down as a list. You can see there may be a chance that may call you to have a small, short conversation. So we need that time. The board will look at the form, and if there are any questions, they will ask you to come over and talk over. So that is the thing, and so that'll be that for the month of May. June, Swami Atmarupananda, our ex-Swami who was here before, he's coming on the 2nd of June, and he will be going straight from here to the retreat in close to Monterey, that is Asilomar. close to San Jose. So he'll be here second, third. Second, he won't be doing anything because he's coming from Dallas. Third, fourth, fifth, and then sixth morning he will be leaving for Asilomar. And then that's June. And July, we will have Swami Sarvapriyanandaji Maharaj. He'll be coming on the 5th of July, 5th, 6th, 7th. He'll be here 5, 6, 7 of July over here. So please await the programs. The programs are not yet set, just the dates got set just recently. So all the programs, their talks, all that will be up slowly on our website, on our mail, and on the VSGH WhatsApp. You will. So, and now we will all have potluck lunch. And please join us outside for potluck.